It is historic in a lot of ways, this visit. You know, no Prime Minister has really spoken about technology so much. No Prime Minister has given Silicon Valley perhaps the importance that it deserves. I just wanted to understand from you, what does the Prime Minister's Valley mean to India, to people like yourselves who are invested in this sector, who are spearheading things, and of course for the Silicon Valley, because we've exported top talent to this valley, haven't we?
No, I think this visit is not just a historic visit, it's one which is very, very important. Because it comes nearly 40 years after the last visit of a Prime Minister to this area, and that was long before the era of internet and all of the things that we are familiar with today. So I think that it's a piece with the policy of the government and the initiatives which the Prime Minister has announced on bringing technology to the center of the development agenda, of encouraging entrepreneurship and startups in technology, especially in areas which are societally important, in areas like healthcare, in areas like financial inclusion, in areas like clean energy, and in other areas like agriculture and so on, where the scope for applying digital technologies in an economy like India to leapfrog, to provide leapfrog solutions to many of the challenges which have bedeviled the system for years. So I think his coming here is important from that context. The second thing is that while a lot has been happening in India, we are now the fourth largest startup ecosystem, the fastest growing. But outside of the people who are in the startups and the venture capitalists and people in the tech area, not many people at the level of heads of government and heads of corporations outside of this group are fully aware of the enormity of what's happening in India. So this is an important occasion and an important place to really send that message across to the rest of the world. And where better than in the valley of innovation in the whole world.
You know, it's very interesting that you say that, and I think it's also happening at a very opportune time, because some of the top talent in the world of technology or in the world of startups is really Indian, and we have a lot to boast of there. We've exported that talent of sorts. But I want to specifically ask you, we will talk about two legs. We'll talk about the startups and we'll talk about the Digital India Initiative. Just to talk about the startups, we've been speaking to a lot of people in this valley here, and they all believe that the startup story in India is bustling with a lot of energy, with a lot of buzz. But they are a little worried about how a lot of money is chasing very few companies, and that really needs to change. As somebody who's going to be spearheading the startup initiative here tomorrow, and you are going to be brainstorming with the likes of Paytm and Zomato, the guys who are really making it big back home, is that something that bothers you as well, and do you believe this will be a talking point with the Prime Minister?
I think that is actually one of the big positives, in the sense that the money is available.
That's right.
And what we need to focus on as a country is two things. Number one is, how do we increase by a quantum the flow of entrepreneurs and the number of young, bright, talented people who take the plunge and create startups, create products which are relevant for India, relevant for the world. That's one big action. The second is that while we are doing reasonably well, the potential is far higher. So what are the things that the government needs to do to create an enabling ecosystem? There's one part of it which is about the infrastructure and some of the physical stuff, which is being done in fact by NASSCOM with several state governments. But perhaps of even greater importance is the soft support by way of mentorship, by way of connects with people who have been there, done that, who can help them to avoid mistakes which others have made. And then also the whole regulatory environment, because in India the issues in starting a company, in operating a company, and most importantly in the context of tech startups, in closing a company as well, are critical, and they need a certain amount of action. So what we have suggested is that there are a few things which need to be done with regard to creating that enabling ecosystem and creating a regulatory cocoon for tech startups where they are freed from the heavy overhang of regulation for the normal established companies. Today that distinction is not made. And the second thing is that there are a few things with regard to taxation which are critical, absolutely critical as far as the sector is concerned. For example, the way angel investment is taxed today.
That's right. Yes.
And the second is the way investors who make investment, not the large equity firms, but even individual investors.
That's right.
Like a number of members of the Indian diaspora who made a fortune in the US, but want to invest in the Indian startup ecosystem, who believe in it.
Yes.
How do you ensure that they are not adversely positioned vis-a-vis established equity firms who route the investments through Mauritius? How do you at least ensure that they have the same benefits and advantages? So these are three things which I believe are critical, and which on which we have already made some recommendations to the government, and we understand that these are at an advanced stage of consideration. So we'll continue to work with the government on those fronts.
Mr. Chandrasekhar, I have a very quick question to ask of you on the whole consumer internet space in India. You've been a part of the industry, so to say, first from the government point of view, and now, of course, as NASSCOM. Do you believe there is far too much consumer internet that's buzzing in India, and it really needs to move to the enterprise space? That's also one of the views that we've been hearing in the Valley. And the second question, sir, also is that, do you believe here in the Valley, if you speak to people, startups are nurtured sometimes and almost, taken under their fold by the big companies? The kind of acquisitions that happen, they're really valued commodities. That is not what we are seeing in India. I mean, too many big companies, the bigger daddies as we call them, are not really taking startups under their fold. They're not really looking at the acquisition route via startups, so they're not really nurturing startups as it is done in the Valley. Is that something that you think will have to be done if we want to replicate this model back home?
Well, what you're saying was true, not necessarily anymore.
Okay.
Because we've seen a lot of changes in the last year or two. In fact, every month we see an acceleration there. There are two things. Number one is, you talked about the focus on e-commerce and consumerism as opposed to the enterprise. And e-commerce is important because it's actually bringing a whole section and a segment of the Indian population onto this medium. And what you can do once you are familiar with the possibilities is enormous. So in a sense, they are playing a very important role of seeding the Indian market for a whole lot of other extremely valuable services in healthcare, in agriculture, in education, and so on. So that's one important piece. The second is that large companies actually have been under pressure now for a few years in the recent past from their clients to deliver innovation, to deliver business value. And there is no way that business value and that organizational
and the innovation will have to come from these startups.
And that innovation, they have tried to do it internally. They've had some successes, but the realization is now quite strong that a lot of it has to be combined from innovation outside. So NASSCOM has actually launched as a part or as an extension of our 10K startup initiative, NIPP, the NASSCOM Industry Partners Program, where large companies are brought together with the small companies, and they are able to pick and choose those with whom they want to partner and how they integrate with them. And it's important because the strengths of the two are complementary. The small companies bring entrepreneurship, innovation, and energy, whereas the large companies bring the marketing muscle, the global reach, and the financial strength. And this combination is actually extremely powerful and works extremely well for both segments. So it's a win-win for both of them and for India as a country.
Thanks very much, sir, for being with us. So that's R. Chandrasekhar of NASSCOM in conversation here with ET Now.
Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/ETNow, and don't forget to click the like button. You can also follow us on Twitter at ETNow Live. To stay updated with all our programming, hit the subscribe button on our YouTube channel by logging on to youtube.com/user/ETNow.